With Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker currently in theaters, the film is attempting to garner some of the goodwill back that was spent with The Last Jedi. Along with reports of massive reshoots and competing cuts of the film with as many as 6 different endings that have filtered out into the ether, Overlord DVD Dictor Van Doomcock recently stated in a video that at one point there were as many as 3 different cuts of the film. One preferred by Bob Iger and Kathleen Kennedy, one by J.J. Abrams, and one by original Star Wars director George Lucas. New information has come to light via Reddit, an insider claiming to work at Lucasfilm, and Twitter user Ichibaka's website Disney Star Wars is Dumb, which may shed some new light as to which cut of the film we finally saw in theaters. As usual, we must state that this information cannot be independently verified. This information is to be treated as rumor and must be taken with a grain of salt. With that warning out of the way, let's dive into what we've learned. In a Reddit post from December 20th, 2019, Lucasfilm Insider says, after Colin Trevorrow left the project, Rian Johnson was immediately Lucasfilm's top choice to take over. However, Bob Iger and Alan Horn weren't impressed with The Last Jedi and thought it was a step down from The Force Awakens. This prompted Iger to personally offer Abrams the gig. J.J. was not a fan of The Last Jedi. Actually, that's putting it gently. He absolutely loathed The Last Jedi and has some serious beef with Rian Johnson. He only came back if he could have complete control and wouldn't have to compromise with Kennedy or the Lucasfilm story group. JJ's first move was to consult with George Lucas on the story for Episode 9. They came up with a story that had strong connections to the Clone Wars TV show, which featured the Dagger of Mortis and Matt Smith as the son of Mortis, which would have been the film's antagonist. The story also used many elements from George Lucas's unused sequel trilogy treatments. Disney really wanted the movie to be another Force Awakens in the sense that it will unite all fans and be at least initially universally loved. After Solo's flop at the box office, the TLJ backlash, and the decline in Star Wars merch, it was paramount for Disney that Episode 9 be a success with fans. They did not want another Last Jedi on their hands. The film's direction changed radically during around midway of principal photography. J.J. told Disney executives that this film wouldn't satisfy and unite all fans. This is where the studio meddling began, which led to the second abandonment of George Lucas's ideas. Nearly every story detail from the initial script was either completely abandoned or bastardized. Palpatine was always to have a presence in this movie, but not alive or as the main villain. The main villain was to be the son of Mortis. Disney feared that general audiences would be alienated, as they wouldn't know who the son of Mortis was, which would make the movie harder to market, and this led to the choice of replacing the son with Palpatine, and Matt Smith was completely removed from the movie. Disney ordered extensive reshoots that went on throughout the year, leading up to early October. J.J. Abrams was not happy with many of the changes that Disney made to The Rise of Skywalker. I don't know the specifics, but let's just say he isn't at all pleased with the final product. Essentially, the majority of the movie was reshot and reconfigured this year at the same time, leaving a ton of important scenes on the cutting room floor. I don't have any more new details on the making of The Rise of Skywalker other than that, but I'm hoping that this post gets people with better resources to give out more details. Reddit user LFSpy2 responds, I heard JJ and Rian didn't get along at all. JJ and Trevorrow did. Rian and Trevorrow didn't like each other either. Lots of production issues on this trilogy. Lucasfilm Insider responds, that is true. JJ's original outline had Luke survive until 9, with 9 being the film where Luke passes. This was something that Colin Trevorrow was fighting hard to keep, but Rian, Kathleen Kennedy, and Kiri Hart wanted Luke dead in The Last Jedi. I also know for a fact that the Lucasfilm story group hates George Lucas, J.J. Abrams, and Colin Trevorrow. They only like Rian. Reddit user New Equipment asks, this is for the OP, but has there been talk of a different cut of the movie? Like how there was that rumor of 3 different cuts of the film, or was that made up? People are saying there exists a Lucas cut or a J.J. Abrams cut. What's your response to that? Lucasfilm Insider responds, the film that they were filming in 2018 was the version of Episode 9 that J.J. and Trevorrow wrote based on a story that JJ and George came up with in late 2017. JJ went to George to ask for his help with coming up with a story for Episode 9 since all of JJ's plot threads and ideas that he had from The Force Awakens were all but destroyed in The Last Jedi. Let's call that cut the JJ Lucas cut. Disney was not impressed with the JJ Lucas cut and feared it could be another Last Jedi. They ordered to completely change it. That's why this film had a ton of reshoots. The film in theaters now is the Iger cut, which is Disney completely changing the initial film into what they thought would be the most profitable version of it. There is only those 2 versions of the film. However, there are numerous different versions of the climax. Some are slight variations from each other, and others are just completely different. However, I seriously doubt the J.J. Lucas cut is anywhere close to being finished. Reddit user BR2727 responds, "Was that other guy from Lucasfilm right about the future that posted here, saying Old Republic is next and Kathleen Kennedy will be fired?" Lucasfilm Insider says, "Kathleen Kennedy leaving is definitely a sure thing at this point and might be fast-tracked depending on the Rise of Skywalker box office. And I know that Rian Johnson's trilogy was canned ages ago. As of right now, I expect in January them to announce Rian's departure/firing. I don't know anything about the Old Republic being next though, but my personal speculation is that if that is the case, it'll be Feige's movie/movies. Though as stated, this information cannot be independently verified, there are some details worth noting. Overlord DVD Dictor Van Doomcock on October 18, 2019 claimed that sources informed him that nearly the entire film was being reshot. Doomcock said, "This is not some kind of casual 2-week reshoot, this is almost a 75% remake." He added that when Abrams said that the film wouldn't please everyone, Disney flipped out and said that it had to and to keep going back until it does. These claims would seem to align with this new information. Several plot points from this Reddit user touch on information from a video published by Midnight's Edge on September 4th, 2019, where sources claim that the main villain of The Rise of Skywalker was to be the son of Mortis, who is featured in the animated series The Clone Wars. Matt Smith was reported by Variety on August 28, 2019 to have been cast in a significant role in Episode 9. On May 25, 2019, it was reported that Smith had his name scrubbed from the Rise of Skywalker IMDb cast page. Yet, a Google search will still show Smith as part of the cast. J.J. Abrams said back in September that the film won't please everyone and confirmed on Good Morning America in November that he had finished shooting mere weeks before release. In an interview with Empire magazine dated November 22, 2019, original Episode 9 director Colin Trevorrow confirmed that Emperor Palpatine was not to be in his version of the film. Trevorrow said, "Bringing back the Emperor was an idea J.J. brought to the table when he came on board. It's honestly something I never considered. I commend him for it. This was a tough story to unlock and he found the key." The details of Trevorrow's story for Episode 9 are still largely unknown. What was rumored to be a major sticking point between Trevorrow and Lucasfilm president Kathleen Kennedy was that Trevorrow wanted Luke Skywalker to survive at the end of The Last Jedi. In an interview from January of 2018, actor Mark Hamill shed some light on what Trevorrow may have had planned for Episode 9.
I had discussions with Colin, and I was very excited because we were on the same page in terms of where we wanted to go and how we wanted to see Luke in a way we've never seen him, even in this current version.
Trevorrow was also said to have wanted Snoke to be alive in order to explore his backstory. Could Colin Trevorrow's original plan for Episode 9 have been centered on Snoke being the son of Mortis? And could those plans have been derailed by Kathleen Kennedy and Rian Johnson? These details seem to fit with the information given by Reddit user Lucasfilm Insider. Could Matt Smith have had a major role in The Rise of Skywalker only to be left on the cutting room floor? Did the reshoots referenced by Lucasfilm Insider serve to remove the actor and completely change the finished film? With recent comments from J.J. Abrams regarding The Last Jedi and with The Rise of Skywalker retconning certain events in the film, it would seem to indicate that under the veneer, there may be some truth to the notion that the director's visions were at odds with each other. Star Wars over the last 4 decades has been many things to many people. However, it seems that now, if we are to believe this is accurate, it has become something it was never intended to be. Something that Kathleen Kennedy and Bob Iger have transformed it into. Star Wars has become a monument to compromise. Let us know what you think of these developments, and we'll have more coverage of Star Wars and The Rise of Skywalker here at Midnight's Edge.